This is certainly a company that, when it's surprised, it's led to big moves.
Well, not a surprise on revenue. Fourth quarter revenue coming in exactly in line at $2.5 billion. That was the expectation we just discussed. As we look here at their next-gen security annual recurring revenue, which you said would be important there, Alex, coming in at $5.6 billion, was estimated to come in at 5.55. So mostly in line there as we're taking a look at those numbers. They are saying they see their first quarter, so this current quarter, next-gen security annual recurring revenue coming in between 7 and 7.1 billion. Also saying they see their 2026 adjusted EPS between 375 and 385. The estimate was for 369, so their guidance positive here too. EPS also coming in at a pretty significant beat. Expectation was for 88 cents. It's coming in at 95 cents for their fiscal fourth quarter that they're reporting right now. You know, Kevin, coming to you, we're just getting this first look at the numbers, but initial takeaways here. We've got a little bit of guidance, some small guidance numbers coming out, but also an inline revenue, but a beat on EPS.
Yeah, this looks like a decent quarter for now as the numbers actually come in. I'm looking at the remaining performance obligations here that grew by 24% on a year-over-year basis. That's really the mark that you want to hit when you're looking at this name. You already talked about the guidance moving forward. They do call out the fact that demand still remains robust here, and they are onboarding obviously new clients, but also their existing clients, getting them to cross-sell, if you will, into other products and services, and that's also kind of leading to that revenue growth. And we talked about the technical setup going into this as we were kind of basing out here, probably a little bit more excitement for an upside beat and an upside move in the shares than potentially a downside one here. Let's wait for the conference call. Once again, hearing about the macro impact on their business, I think, is going to be very key and has been something that has created a lot of volatility for this name. But on the surface, it looks like the adjusted earnings per share as well as the revenue beat and the guidance is something that the street does appreciate at this point.
Yeah, I'm looking right now. They're up about 5% as these numbers are just coming across the wire. Alex, initial thoughts from you?
Yeah, that first quarter next-gen security ARR of 7 to 7.1 to me seems like the biggest beat of these different numbers that I'm seeing. Now, I'm not seeing it translate as broadly into the full year 2026 revenue or some of the RPO stuff that we see. But if I just look at where analysts had been for that particular first quarter next-gen security ARR, they were at 5.8 billion. So this is a huge beat on that particular figure, which I would argue is probably the most important segment in terms of breakdown that they provide.
And, I know that was a strong watch on the annual recurring revenue and the performance obligations, driving demand, cluing in how much demand they're seeing, how many new customers they're bringing in. As far as those numbers go, we are still seeing a really positive response, striking as much as 6% up right now. The call coming in about 22 minutes. What do you expect, Kevin, for you? What are you expecting some of the analysts to ask questions about based on the numbers that we're seeing here?
Well, I would expect them to ask about the CrowdStrike and if they're seeing any type of residual impacts from that outage that they had a fairly long time ago. Obviously, we haven't seen anything meaningful over the last couple of quarters, but their large customers could take some time in order for them to try to adopt some new platforms and things of that nature. So, are they seeing any positivity there? Once again, going back to the mid-sized and smaller companies that they do service, are they seeing any type of weakness there? And then, how are they leveraging artificial intelligence into their platforms, not only on the back end when it comes operationally that can expand margins, but how are they integrating that in the platforms on the front end here for their customers, and what's the reception like? So there's a lot that we can glean from Palo Alto Networks. Once again, the street was looking for around a $14 move, give or take, about $12 to $13 moves. It seems like it's pretty much on the mark there, at least for now, sitting at around $11. So still within the expected range, positive report. Hopefully the conference call gives it a little bit more to the upside and a little bit more optimism here. So really good quarter for them.
Yeah, great quarter for them. And there was a typo. They just issued a correction as it came across the wire. One of the numbers was typed incorrectly. The Q1 next-gen security ARR is set to come in at 5.82 billion to 5.84 $2.4 billion. That is the correct numbers. They issued a correction there. It came incorrectly across the wire. You know, Alex, having those adjusted numbers here, you know, even better than they were, you know, looking before. I think overall will be interesting to hear the language they use on the call for, you know, the coming quarter, but also for 26 on the whole.
I think the big thing on that is that the 7 to 7.1 was for the full 2026, so that's where the confusion came in. That first quarter, though, is in line with the expectations. Explains why some of the other metrics weren't seeing the feed through. So yeah, still a strong quarter. Marginally less strong than it looked like maybe a couple minutes ago, but I think in their initial release, it was all accurate. So the reaction's all been to that. It's just some of the news wires as they posted it maybe scrubbed those headlines and put them into the wrong spot.
Yeah, you know, and still a positive response, though. We're looking, they're up, you know, 6% on the whole right now. But Palo Alto Networks posting a significant fourth quarter EPS beat at 95 cents, beating the expectations for 88 cents. Their fourth quarter revenue coming in line at $2.5 billion, but issuing some pretty decently strong guidance for the coming quarter and also for fiscal year 26. So that call will be happening here in about 20 minutes. But thank you, Alex Coffey, for being with us today. Thank you, Kevin Green, for being with us as well to break down these earnings for us.